My name is Candace, aka Picasso Baby, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create your very own Very Merry Grinchmas. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for stopping back by to paint with me today. So today is day 5 of 5 days of Christmas with Picasso Baby, and we are going to be creating a painting inspired by one of my favorite Christmas movies. Yes, you've got it right. The Grinch. So, before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and turn on those post notifications so that you do not miss the next tutorial. And big thank you to Hippie Crafter because they sent me over some really cool acrylic paints. They sent me over a set of 20 different paints and some 9 by 12 inch canvases. So I'm going to be using those in my tutorial today. So before we get started, I'm going to go over everything that I'm using today. So like I said, I am working with a 9 by 12 inch canvas. Remember, you can use the canvas size of your choice. It's completely up to you. You also want to make sure that you have some different size acrylic brushes to work with. You want to make sure you have a cup of cold water to wash your brushes out in, and also some napkins to dry them. And then you want to make sure that you have a plate. I just have a paper plate or a palette to put your paint on. The colors I'm going to be working with today from Hippie Crafter are titanium white, Mars black. I'm going to be using a bit of pale green, scarlet, and last but not least, I'm going to be using some mid yellow. Now, we are also going to be doing a little bit of drawing today. So you do want to make sure that you have a pencil and you want to make sure that you have a black Sharpie or a black marker. Even if you have the marker, I always suggest using the pencil first. That way, if you make any mistakes, it's easier to erase it and then fix it before you go in with the permanent marker or with your paint. So you do want to make sure that you have a pencil and then also a marker to outline it. And we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing I'm going to start out by doing, I'm going to start by drawing my Grinch hand. We're just going to be creating his hand holding an ornament. So it's going to be super, super simple. Don't stress out about it. But what I'm going to do first, I want to create the sleeve of his Santa suit. So from the side here, I'm going to pull a line at an angle. And I'm going to come down and pull another line at an angle there. Now, once I have that, I'm going to go up and I'm going to create some little curves. Kind of looks like a little cloud almost. And from there, I'm going to go in and close it up. And I'm going to close it up. But before I get to the end there, I'm going to come out almost like I made like a little hook there. And then I closed it up. So now that we have that part in, and that's just part of his Santa suit, I'm going to go in and start to actually draw his hand. Now, I'm going to come right here from the top, and I'm going to curve over just a bit. I'm not going to do too much just yet. And I'm going to do the same thing from the bottom. And again, I just pulled a little bit of a line out, didn't make a real curve just yet. Now, from there, I'm going to go back at the top. I'm going to go down and create a little curve there. From this piece here, I'm going to create a curve there. Now, in between this space, so I have those two curves. In between this space, I almost want to create like a teardrop or an upside down teardrop. And you see I just did that right in the middle. Now, from this point here, so where the drop ends, I'm going to come down the middle here, curve this way. Same thing here. Come back down the middle, curve that way. Now, we have the part where he's holding the ornament. So what we want to do now is add on a few more fingers. So I'm going to come back towards the top here, a little pinky hanging out there, and I'm going to add 2 more fingers. And 1 more right next to it. These 2 are actually going to touch. So now we have our Grinch hand. Now from there, what I want to do, I want to create my ornament. So I'm going to pull 2 little lines down from the center of his fingers. And then I'm just going to make a circle. And remember, it's not a perfect circle. You can always grab a cup or a small plate to make your circle. Or you can just wait until you're doing it with your paint and kind of round it out the way you want. But once you have the drawing on, we're going to start painting. So I am going to begin by simply painting in my entire background. Now for my background, I do want my background to be black. So I am going to be using a medium-sized flat brush. You can use a larger one if you're comfortable with that, or you can always use a smaller brush to outline everything. Will go around everything, not the insides, but go around the outside of your Grinch hand and your ornament first, and then you can use a bigger brush to paint the rest. And I'm doing my background black, but you can do the color of your choice. It's completely up to you. You just want to make sure that you get right next to everything and making sure that background is completely covered. So I'm just going to work on getting this background covered, and then we'll move to the next step in just a few. All right, now once you are done with the entire background and you have it completely filled in, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to start to fill in the Santa sleeve. Now the Santa sleeve is going to be red, so I'm just going right into my Scarlet using the same brush, and you just want to make sure you wash it off really well. And I'm just going to go in and place my Scarlet on. And this red, this Scarlet red that Hippie Crafter has is so pretty, so vibrant. Perfect for a Santa suit. And you want to make sure that you don't leave any space between the Santa suit and the background. So you shouldn't see any space. Now, I'm going to continue using this same brush. And I'm going to use this brush to get my ornament filled in, and I'm still going to use red. If you would like to use a different color, remember it's completely up to you. But I'm going to use my red, and you see on here, because my background is still wet, I picked up a little bit of my black, but that's just going to mix in very well and make a little bit of a burgundy kind of thing happening in my ornament. If you feel like you might be picking up a little too much of your background color, you can always give it a second to dry and then go in and fill it in. But I actually like how the black is kind of blending in on my ornament and giving it a little bit of extra detail. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of white and blend that on my ornament as well. Now, I want to go ahead and get my Grinch hand filled in too. And for that, I'm going to keep using my medium-sized brush. You just want to make sure to wash it out really, really good. And of course, dry it off so your paint isn't running down your canvas. And I'm going to go right into this pale green here. And remember, if you don't have green, you can always mix up blue and yellow. And the more yellow you use, the brighter it will be. The more blue you use, the darker it will be. And this pale green is the perfect, absolute perfect Grinch color. So I'm going in and I'm getting all of the fingers filled. And I'm going to get the entire hand filled as well. And you want to make sure that you kind of keep those points on the ends of his fingers that we drew. You want to do your best to keep those points on there. And you'll see even in this that I'm picking up a little bit of my black background. That's completely fine because it's giving him a little extra color, a little extra detail. One thing I'm going to do to give it a little more detail and make it look a little more realistic is I'm going to keep this green on my brush, but I'm going to go towards the top of the hand and kind of pull little quick pieces out to kind of make fur. You can even do a little bit of that at the bottom there too if you like. But I'm not going to do a whole lot, just a little bit, enough to make a little bit of fur. And I'm going to go in with some white as well to give it a little more detail. And you can put white on the fingers, just adding a little extra detail there. And now I am going to switch to more of a medium round brush. And with this brush, I'm going to go right into my titanium white. And I'm going to get the sleeve filled in. And you might pick up a little bit, again, a little bit of your other colors. That is completely fine. Just keep going so that it blends in. But if you don't like it, if you want it to be like a really, really clean white, again, you can always give it a second to dry. And then you can go ahead and get the white filled in. All right, now the last thing I'm going to do before I give this a quick little drying break, I am going to paint the string of my ornament using this mid yellow here. I'm just going to go in and paint the string of my ornament. And I'm going to dip into my red a little bit to kind of overlap the bottom of the string so it really looks like the string is attached to my ornament. All right, now once you have everything completely filled in, before we can add our last little details, we do have to let this dry for a second. So as always, you can take a 10 to 15 minute drying break to let it dry completely. Or if you don't want to take a break, you can always grab a blow dryer and blow dry it on a cool setting until it's completely dry. And then once it's dry, we'll come back and start the next step together in a few. Hurry up! All right, so now that our paintings are completely dry, it's time to go in and add a few little details. I am going to switch to a smaller brush, and I'm going to actually outline my sleeve first. Now, because everything else is kind of already on the black background, then you don't have to necessarily outline it, but I'm going to outline the parts that are not on the black background. And I'm going to do this with my small brush, and I'm actually mixing a little bit of water with my paint. Hippie Crafters acrylic paint is heavy body paint, so it's not as fluid as I would like. So to kind of get it more fluid and easy to make lines with, I am just mixing a little bit of water with my paint, and you want to make sure you mix it really well. That way it's just more fluid and easy to kind of draw on there. But you don't want it to run down your canvas. So you want to make sure you mix it really, really well. And then I'm just going to go in and outline the sleeve. And remember, this step is optional. If you like yours how it is, you definitely can skip this step. All right, now once you have it outlined the way that you would like, what I'm going to start to do next, I'm going to start to add some little details on my background. Now remember, once you have it outlined, I'm going to start to add some details on my ornament. Now remember, you can add any details on your ornament that you want. I'm going to add some little stars, and I'm going to do that by simply still using my smallest brush, but this time I'm mixing a little bit of water with some of my white paint to make it a little more fluid. And I like to make a dot and then pull 4 lines from the dot to make little stars. And I'm just gonna do 3, but I'm also gonna go in and do some actual little dots on the ornament as well. And I'm using the back end of my brush and white paint. And keep in mind, the more pressure you use, the bigger your dots will be. The less pressure you use, the smaller your dots will be. And you can do as many or as few as you want. Or again, like I said, you can design your ornament however you like. And once you're done with that, I'm gonna switch to a smaller flat brush because I wanna write some words on there. So I'm gonna go into my green first, and I did mix some water with that so it's easier to make my words. And I want my painting to say Merry Grinchmas. You can make yours say whatever you like. If you wanted to say your family name, if you wanted to say the year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, the Grinch, whatever you wanted to say is completely up to you. But I want mine to say Merry Grinchmas. So I'm gonna start right here, and I'm gonna do Grinchmas first. And now that I have Grinchmas, I'm gonna go in and write Merry. So I'm mixing some water with my red paint. And I'm just gonna write Merry right above it. And once you have everything on there the way that you want it, the last thing you want to make sure to do is simply sign your painting. So I'm going to switch back to my smallest brush, a little bit of white paint, and I'm just going to sign my initials right in the corner. You can sign your initials or your signature however you like. And once you have done that, you are all done with your very Merry Grinchmas painting. Thank you all so much for painting with me today. I hope you have enjoyed day 5 of 5 days of Christmas with Picasso Baby. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and your family. Thank you again to everyone over at Hippie Crafter that sent me supplies to work with and that made these last 5 days possible. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't already, go back and check out day 1 through 4 of all of the Christmas paintings. They're super fun and super easy to do with yourself, your friends, or your family. And as always, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe and turn on those post notifications so that you do not miss the next tutorial. And remember, all 5 days I am giving away these paintings. So if you would like any of the paintings from the last 5 days, make sure you put in the comments I want it, and I'm going to choose one person from each video at random, and I'll be sending them over these paintings. So make sure you get your comments in on the painting you would like, and I will see you in the next tutorial.